Abundance is often spoken about as something outside of us: money, opportunities, relationships, success. But what we rarely question is the inner frequency through which we relate to life itself. And until that frequency changes, the outer conditions may shift briefly, but they never stabilize. So today, we're not talking about chasing abundance, visualizing endlessly, or forcing positive thinking. We're talking about understanding the inner state from which abundance naturally flows. The word frequency is not mystical in this context. It simply means the quality of attention, perception, and relationship you have with the present moment. Every human being lives on a certain inner frequency, not measured by devices, but by the way they meet life. Some meet life with contraction, fear, scarcity, comparison, and urgency. Others meet life with openness, clarity, trust, and intelligence. And the world responds differently to each state, not because of luck, but because of resonance. Abundance is not attracted by wanting. Wanting is already a signal of lack. Wanting says, "I don't have." And when the mind constantly affirms not having, it stays tuned to scarcity. Abundance emerges when the mind and body are no longer internally fighting life, when there is no psychological resistance to what is. That absence of resistance is a frequency. Notice something simple. When you are calm, attentive, and present, things tend to align more easily. Conversations flow, ideas appear, decisions become clearer. Energy is conserved. You are not leaking attention into worry and imagination. That clarity is abundance in its raw form. It may later express itself as money, creativity, or opportunity, but first it exists as inner coherence. Most people block abundance without realizing it. They do it through constant comparison, through inner pressure, through the belief that they are behind, lacking, or late. These are not harmless thoughts. They are frequencies. They shape how the nervous system functions, how the mind interprets information, and how action arises. A stressed mind cannot perceive opportunity clearly, even when it's right in front of it. Abundance is deeply connected to awareness. Awareness brings order. Where there is order, energy flows efficiently. Where energy flows efficiently, creation happens naturally. Disorder inside creates waste. Waste of time, waste of energy, waste of intelligence. So unlocking abundance begins with seeing where your energy is being scattered. Watch your inner dialogue. Is it mostly complaint, anticipation, fear, rehearsing imaginary futures, reliving past mistakes? All of that is energy moving without direction. When you bring awareness to these movements without judgment, they slow down. And when they slow down, something shifts. Presence appears. Presence is a high frequency because it is undivided. Abundance does not come from trying to be positive. Forced positivity is just another form of resistance. It says, "This moment is not enough. I must feel different." Real abundance comes when you fully inhabit this moment, not as an idea, but as a lived experience. When you are here fully, without internal argument, the system becomes aligned. Look at nature. A tree does not chase abundance. It does not worry about whether it deserves sunlight. It grows in alignment with its environment. It receives what is available and responds intelligently. Human beings lost this natural intelligence because thought became dominant without awareness. We began living in imagined futures and remembered pasts, and in doing so, we stepped out of resonance with life. To unlock the frequency of abundance, you must see clearly how scarcity is manufactured internally. Scarcity is not always about lack of money. It's about the feeling of not enough. Not enough time, not enough love, not enough recognition, not enough security. That feeling colors perception, and perception determines action. Action taken from scarcity reinforces scarcity. But when awareness is present, you see the feeling without becoming it. You don't suppress it. You don't indulge it. You observe it. And in that observation it loses its grip. Awareness brings choice where there was compulsion. Abundance is closely tied to gratitude, but not the kind you repeat verbally. Real gratitude is attentiveness. When you are attentive, you naturally notice what is working, what is available, what is alive. This noticing shifts the nervous system out of survival mode. And when the system is not in survival, creativity emerges. Creativity is abundance in motion. Another important point: abundance is not separate from responsibility. Many think abundance means ease without effort. But in reality, abundance flows through intelligent action. Awareness sharpens action. You act with less waste, less hesitation, less self-sabotage. You stop fighting reality and begin cooperating with it. Notice how often you delay action because of doubt. Doubt is not intelligence. Doubt is often fear disguised as thinking. When awareness is present, you can see the difference between practical caution and psychological hesitation. That clarity unlocks momentum. Momentum is abundance expressing itself through time. Abundance also requires integrity. When your inner values and outer actions are misaligned, energy leaks. You may make money, but it doesn't stay. You may gain attention, but it doesn't fulfill. You may succeed outwardly, but feel inwardly empty. Alignment is the frequency where abundance becomes sustainable. When you are aligned, you don't chase opportunities. You recognize them. Recognition comes from clarity. Clarity comes from awareness. Awareness comes from listening without resistance. This is why silence is important, not as an escape, but as a reset. Silence allows the nervous system to recalibrate. In silence, you begin to sense life directly again, without interpretation. And in that direct sensing, intelligence operates without effort. That intelligence knows when to move, when to wait, when to speak, when to remain quiet. Abundance is not luck. It is responsiveness to life. You unlock abundance not by asking the universe for more, but by removing the inner obstacles that block natural flow. Fear, greed, impatience, comparison, and self-doubt are not moral issues. They are energetic disruptions. Awareness restores balance. When balance is restored, you feel lighter. When you feel lighter, you act more freely. When you act freely, life responds. This is the cycle of abundance. So instead of asking, "How do I get more?" ask, "Where am I resisting what is already here?" That question alone can shift your frequency. Abundance is already present in the intelligence of life. When you are present too, the two meet. And that meeting is not dramatic. It's quiet, natural, stable. It shows up as clarity, confidence, and a deep sense of enoughness, from which real abundance naturally grows. Another subtle barrier to abundance is the habit of measuring yourself through outcomes alone. When your sense of worth rises and falls with results, the mind becomes tense and tension collapses frequency. Abundance does not flourish in contraction. It flourishes in steadiness. When you give full attention to the quality of action rather than the promise of reward, the inner system relaxes. In that relaxation, intelligence has room to operate. The paradox is that when you stop obsessing over results, results often improve. Not because of magic, but because clarity has replaced pressure. Abundance also requires patience, not as waiting, but as trust in timing. Many people force movement before insight has matured, and that force creates friction. When awareness is present, you sense when action is ripe. You stop pushing life forward and allow it to unfold while staying attentive. This patience is not passive. It is alert. It listens. It adjusts. And in this attunement, effort becomes efficient rather than exhausting. Finally, abundance deepens when you recognize that giving and receiving are not opposites. They are the same movement viewed from different angles. When you act from fullness, sharing insight, time, skill, or presence, you reinforce the inner frequency of enough. life responds to that signal, not as a reward, but as resonance. And slowly, quietly, you discover that abundance was never something to unlock in the future. It was something to stop blocking in the present.